This morning we're talking about growth. What are the factors that generate growth in businesses, particularly SMEs? Because actually SMEs are where job creation and economic growth comes from. The future of the British economy and most Western economies depends on how medium-sized enterprises are coping with change, disruption, and the way we need to work in a new technological era. I think one thing we'd say is that the most successful are those who see opportunities where other people see a challenge. As a lot of your firms demonstrate, the twin forces of globalization and technological change are the real trends which companies have been grappling with.
We started our business helping industry come together to grow, and that was all about helping business agree common best practice for how they can proceed and move forward and grow as an organisation. We're incredibly excited to be here today. What I'm really interested to find out from you all this morning are what's your take on the new challenges for growth? Are they new, or are they the same as they were before 2008?
The contrast between what works and is disrupting everything and what survives is just something I find fascinating.
I would say there's a contrast, but there's also a synergy in terms of technology as the driver. You know, the reality is we are not a taxi company. We're a technology company that just happens to provide a taxi app. If we look at businesses in general, it seems like technology has been the thing that has really kick-started the economy again. You know, our R&D department, we've got a very large R&D department, but it sits in Israel because there's a relative brain drain of being able to get the international and global requirements that we require based in the UK.
If the UK is really going to be a global competitive country, it needs to have the fastest broadband and the highest penetration of any other country. And I think it's really, really lacking in that.
Slightly disagreeing from though is that the opportunity that you can actually set up an office in Israel, or you can actually look at resources globally as part of your local business here is an enormous benefit, and something I think has really changed over the last decade or so. We just take talent where we find it rather than like trying to bring it here. So I think there's a real opportunity as well for a mindset change of trying to think global in terms of resources. For us as a business, we have taken great amount of advantage for that. Engineering is here in the UK, but manufacturing is in China. Our customer support is in Kenya.
We're talking about relatively small companies seeking out that expertise internationally.
The message that all companies with an aspiration for growth, they don't have to focus on globalization. It's an opportunity, it's never been easier. But the companies that are experiencing the fastest growth are the ones that are embracing technology. We've been around for 30 years and we've experienced more disruption in the last 18 months than we did in the previous 29 years, 6 months. And that has been driven by technology.
It was wonderful just to come together this morning with other business leaders who are also looking at growth and have the opportunity to be able to talk about some of the challenges and some of the things that we're all facing.
The people we employ, quite like creative people, those engineering, there's core engineering skills, the milling, turning, grinding, fitting skills, the core skills, but you're looking for people who are trying to solve problems differently. And I believe that all the successful SMEs are because they are not traditional, and they may appear traditional, but they don't think traditional, and they do continue to invest in the technology and the people, and that is why they differentiate themselves.
Our most talked about cameras over the last sort of 3 years have been a black and white camera, which is sort of taking a step back, a digital camera that has no screen on the back, and a purely mechanical camera. Now these are all things that used to happen years ago, but no one has thought about doing that in the market for years. So it's disruptive, but it's actually taking a step in the opposite direction.
Traditional businesses are scared to fail, where probably most of the people around here aren't scared of failure. They won't accept it, but they're not scared of it. And that's why you come up with such good ideas.
Have you all failed at some point on the way to success?
Yes.
You learn from your mistakes. I think that's the most important thing, and be, at the same time as a business, you have to be agile and, flexible with the customers and see what the customer requirements are.
Failure is now being analysed better. I think growth can be accelerated by really good risk analysis. And sometimes it's a leap into the unknown, particularly when you're investing into new technology.
In the post-recession era that we're kind of into now, how do you get more customers?
The way to get customers is like small business can be a lot smarter nowadays. Like if you look at how much data as a small company you can collect on your customers, it's just a wealth of information. And as a small company, be able to kind of realize what the sales channels are actually working, what the type of customers are, you basically learn to fail quicker.
I think that's the key thing that we've done differently, is identify what our ideal client is and go out and target those individuals through use of technology and using the CRM data.
I've had a fantastic time. I've met some really brilliant people, really diverse, little mini SMEs, startups, right through to established businesses of over 100 years old.
This morning was very good because of the amount of SMEs and the cross-section of SMEs that were here, all with the key message really is that be very agile, be very adaptable to the environment, and key of all, remember your customers and work on those relationships.
How do your customers, especially in such a rapidly changing world, know that you're any good?
I think it's about very, very good PR, making sure that people know what you're doing, really good thought leadership, and back to the points about CRM and data, you can really now prove that your marketing is effective because you know the conversion, you know how many people engaged it, you know how many people bought the product.
And if trust and authenticity are so important to your customers in all of your different sectors, how do you demonstrate that as you grow?
I think that seems to me that it's about being authentic. Certainly for us, authenticity has been the thing that's kept us in our sort of growth position.
Having confidence and loyalty and transparency is a very important part of that user experience for our customers who are sacrificing a large part of their disposable income while buying our products. And I think the quality of the training internally really boils down to the bottom line.
It's really interesting to how many conversations start on technology and then basically just veer back to people.
It's in kind of my industry, the most important thing is culture, and the culture that you create as a CEO, and then the values that you have as your business, and making sure that the staff that you have understand them and believe in them. And that often needs to be beyond the product and the profit that you're trying to make, but what you're actually standing for as a business and what your purpose is.
I think it's been a fabulous discussion. I hope you've got a lot out of it. I know I certainly have. This morning was a great opportunity to learn from a dozen UK SMEs about the challenges that they're facing. What I found hugely insightful was, it's the traditional things that businesses are still wrestling with as we come into the new dawn of a new opportunity. It's looking after your customers. It's listening to them. It's building trust, being authentic, keeping your promises as an organisation, and really finding the space and the opportunity to think medium and long term about the success of your business.
I think it's been an absolutely fascinating discussion. Thank you all so much. Chris, thanks to you.
Thank you.